Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is part 11 for a step-by-step guide to learn Angular. So if you are directly coming to this video, I will recommend you to watch previous video first and then you can come to this video. So these are the topics we are going to cover in this complete video series. And in the previous video, we created a registration form, and on that we did a validation and we used a template-driven form for that. So this video is continue to that validation. We added that required field validation and password and confirm password match validation. In this video, we are going to add email validation. If email already exists, we are going to show a message. So let's quickly open our application first. So this is our application. So I'm going to add this button here. So I can see this yellow smiley coming. If I'm removing it, I can see this red color side smiley. Let's add it here. Now I'm going to add last name. I'm going to give my email and password 123455432 then again I'm giving correct one 12345. So yeah, so my validations are working fine, but what I want is if this email is already exist in the database, so I don't want to allow my user to use this email, and I want to show one validation message below the this text box that email is already exist. So let's start and open Visual Code. So under the register folder, I can see our custom field validator, which we created in the previous video. And this was for validating our password and confirm password. If both is not matching, we are going to uh, send a error here. Like you can see, if both field is not valid, I am returning that compare field validator equals to true. So similar to that, now I am going to create a validator for email. If email is already exist, I'm going to send a error. So I'm going to use Angular CLI to generate our directive. So let's quickly go to direct register directive. So cd src, then app. Under app we are having account. Under account we are having register. Now let's clear this, and what I'm going to do is ng generate default directive, and I am giving a name is already exist validator directive, and let's keep the structure as a flat and enter. Yeah, so now I can see my newly created directive. So let's open it, and to make it validator directive, we need to implement interface. So let's implement async validator, and we need to implement methods. So let's implement that interface methods, but I'm not going to use this registration and validator change method. So let's remove this, and what I want is I'm going to modify this. I want to return null also from here. So in the or I am going to give null, similar to that for our execs also. So either I am going to return validator validation errors or null. So yeah, that part is done. Now part 2 is to I am going to tell Angular that my directive is a validated directive. So for that I am going to add in the providers array, I need to provide. Previously video, if you remember, we added ng validators here, but this time, because we are going to interact with the database or some external libraries, some API, so it will take some time. So we cannot use that ng validators here. So this time I am going to use async ng async validator, and we are going to use existing. We are we are saying that use this existing directive, use this existing class here, and I'm saying like it should allow multiple instance. So I'm giving multi equals to true. So now next step is we need a list of already exist emails in the database. So I'm not injecting the service here because if I will inject the service, so then my directive will not be generic and it will be only specific for email. But what I want is I can use it for anything, for email, for any other validation. So for that, I'm going to add one input. Let's give name is records, and I'm giving name is records, and this input will be a type of observable, and under that I'm giving the string array. So from my HTML I will give list of emails to my directive. So now let's remove this, and I'm going to replace this with this condition if not a control, or if control, I'm going to use object dot keys equals to control dot errors dot filter already exists dot length greater than 0. So if control is having any other error other than our already exist error, so what I want is I want to return null. So let's return, and this is observable, so I'm going to use off here, and under that I'm going to keep null. So let's import off. Yeah. So if control is null, or if control is having any other error like required field error or anything else, so I don't want to validate and I am returning null here. So now next step is we need to check our control dot value is exist in this records or not. So if it is already exist, I am going to send this key already exist. Okay, so let's add the code here. This dot records, it is observable, so I'm going to use pipe here, and inside that I'm going to use map operator. So let's import this map. So import, then map, and it is in the rxjs slash operators. So now inside the map, what I want is I want to check if my email is exist or not. So let's add a condition here. Index of our control dot value, if it is greater than -1, means it is exist, then what I want is I want to return this key with the true value. So in else I am going to return null. So if value is already exists, so I am going to return already exists key true, and if it is not exist, so I am going to return null. And let's add a return statement here. Now we have to associate our directive to our email text box. So let's copy this and open our HTML. So this is my registration component.html, and let's scroll down to our email field. So this is our email. So I am going to add this attributes here. And one more thing, what I want is I want a list of all the records. So this is an input property. So let's copy this and paste it to records. So basically what we are doing here, we are sending the list of email records to our directive. So we need to add this in the component also. So let's copy this and open our registration component, and here I am giving records, and I am giving the value is observable of string array. Now let's add some dummy record because we did not implemented service yet, so let's add some dummy record. So this dot records equals to dubetapan12@gmail.com. So I am adding my email, and if someone adds this email ID, so I should get validation message like email already exists. So let's save this. Now go back to our HTML, and what I want is I want to show a message. So we need to add a span tag here. So let's add it. So we added that class text danger, and we are saying if email is touched and email is invalid and email is having this already exist error, I want to show message email already exist. So we are done with this, and now let's run our application. So now I'm giving that already exist email ID, and let's see if we get a validation message or not. Oh, so we are not getting validation message, so it means there is some issue with the code. So first step, I'm going to verify that browser console. So let's press F12 key in your keyboard and open the console. So we can see one error here. The error is saying cannot convert undefined or null to object function keys. So if you remember in our directive, we are validating this control.errors with object.keys, and in the previous video also I mentioned that these errors can be null, and when it will be null then this object.keys will throw error. So to fix that, what I'm going to do is when it is null, I am saying my code to use empty array here. So this will fix my that object.keys error. So let's save this and let's re-verify in the browser. So it's compiled successfully. Now Let's wait to load our registration page. And let's close this developer tool. And now I'm going to give already exist email, and I'm clicking outside. So yeah, I can see email already exist. Now let's change it to 3 4, and I'm clicking outside, so it's working fine. That's all for this video. In the next video, we will create a service and we will talk about service, and we will save our registration record to database. Thank you for watching.